What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Eat a Hoagie from Nerdthusiast Poker Podcast. Today, if you've seen some of my other ones, I'd like to review some of these random, rare, weird, old poker movies, gambling movies. So a lot of, everyone knows the mainstream movies, but I like trying to dig up and find some, ones that are a little bit, not as known. And so today we're diving into Poker Alice. I found this online. I bought a DVD copy of it. I think I paid like 15 or 20 bucks for it. I'll tell you right now, a little secret I'm going to drop in chat. I've actually found the full video on YouTube, so I should have checked there first. So that was my first mistake, was spending like $15 for this thing. But you can get it on YouTube. I'll make sure, like I said, the link is going to be down below. So Poker Alice, let's jump into it. Let's talk a little bit about it. This was a made-for-TV movie, I believe from 1986, if I'm going to get that right. The movie contains a couple well-known actors and actresses. It has Elizabeth Taylor as Poker Alice, and you have George Hamilton in there as her cousins. So now, this story is loosely based on the real life Poker Alice, who went by the name, I think she was married like 4 or 5 times, Alice Tubbs Hucker Ivers Duffield. So she was from 1851, she was born, and the real life Poker Alice lived on the wild front, and she was a hustling poker player back in the day that basically was running games and playing games and hustling for money in South Dakota. So over the years, she's been kind of loosely immortalized in movies such as this and books and like even in the Maverick TV show. But I wouldn't say this is like a true adaptation to her lifestyle. This is a more glorified mini story that I don't even think is that true, like based on who the real like Poker Alice is. It'd be kind of great if they actually did a real modern day movie about the real life Poker Alice, but that's for another conversation. This one is just like kind of a snippet of a story. These two here, they're on a train ride. I don't even know, going God knows where in the Wild West for some reason. And she jumps into a high limit game that is running on the train. And so she kind of finagles her way into this game and pretends she has no idea. Long story short, she ends up hustling like all these like rich dudes on the train. Now, one guy, and you see this a lot of movies, like the whole like, I don't have enough money, so I'm gonna bet my car, my house, my horse, or whatever the hell they're doing, right? They keep raising the stakes, right? In modern day poker, we know that's like table stakes. That's your limit. Whatever's on the table, that's what you have. So again, a guy ends up losing his house, right? Because he owes $3,000 to Poker Alice, and he doesn't have it, so he puts his house up, and it happens to be in the next city that they're going to. So they get off the train this next city, and he's like, all right, you can have this house. Well, lo and behold, Elizabeth Taylor, a.k.a. Poker Alice, finds out the house is actually a whorehouse. It's a bordello, or bordello. What the hell do you call them? Bordello? I don't even know. I've never been to one, so I don't even know. But anyway, she now owns one, right? And there's like 3 or 4 prostitutes that live here. And so along the way comes a couple male characters. Now, the main male character is George Hamilton here, who plays her cousin, and he's really kind of creepy and weird and kind of like is secretly in love with her, but like basically is overprotective at the same time. And it's kind of a weird dynamic, and if you're going to watch the film, you're going to kind of see that. And he kind of is like, he blocks other kind of guys getting involved, and I guess he's trying to be protective, like the older brother type. But it's more kind of, I don't want to say physical, because it's not hooking up or anything, but there's definitely more there, and it's definitely a little bit weird. And so she meets a bounty hunter along the way, who has happened to look for this criminal that's out on the run as well. So a couple dynamic stories going on there, and this is all within like an hour and 32 minutes. They just jam it all together. So she's running this whorehouse, and the cousin's kind of like, dude, we need to get out of here. Like, who cares about this house? Just get rid of it. And she's like, no, I want my $3,000 for the house. So she's still trying to like sell the house and flip it. Meanwhile, there's another dude that runs another whorehouse down the street, basically. And so he basically finds out that this is happening, and he wants to buy it from her and offers her like a low ball amount, and she's like, no. So then what she does is the prostitutes, she basically tells them like, look, you can keep all the money you make. You don't have to pay anything to the house, right? And you don't have to work on Sundays. So the girls now working there are all great. They respect her, and they are like, okay, this is great. But then the other dude gets pissed for some reason, and he's upset because I guess his girls are upset because they found out at this house they get to keep all their tips and all their money, and they don't work on Sundays. And he says he's losing business, which doesn't really make sense to me when I'm watching, because I'm like, well, if Poker Alice shuts down her whorehouse on Sundays, so shouldn't the guy be getting all his business then that they're losing out over here? That didn't really make sense to me. So meanwhile, they're all bargaining, and she's basically trying to gain value into her house. It's making more and more money, she says, but she's closing more, and I don't know. The girls seem to be working less because now they get to keep all their money they actually have. But lo and behold, she ends up getting the value of the property up, gets her money from the other guy, and sells the place. She falls in love with this guy she met twice that's a bounty hunter, and she decides she's going to run off to California, but the bounty hunter is like, listen, your creepy cousin is not coming with us. Like, that's the deal. Like, he's not coming with us. Like, that's it. And so then the bad guy that the bounty hunter's chasing shows up at the end, and the creepy cousin ends up saving his ass in a shootout scene, and that is basically the movie. There's very little poker. So even though it's called Poker Alice, there's literally only like one scene of poker. And I've kind of gotten that a lot of these films, you know, they're loosely gambling casino films, and there's usually maybe one or two scenes. And I think the thing about this one, that I was hoping that it was a little more backstory about the real life Poker Alice. I didn't get that from this film, and I was a little disappointed by that. The film overall is not that great. I would rate it like a 3 out of 10. But if you're really bored and you want to check out something that you probably have never seen before because it was a straight to VHS from a TV movie back in the 1980s, then go check it out. But that's my little review of Poker Alice. Make sure you follow, subscribe, check out some of the other random rare podcasts and videos we've reviewed over the last years. But if you come across anything that's weird, unique, poker related, I've even watched stuff from other countries, feel free to share it with me on my Twitter page at Hoagie, and let me know what you found. I probably already saw it. We can talk about it, but once in a while I find some kind of new weird gem like this. And I wouldn't call this a gem, but a new little thing that I could check out and watch when I'm bored late at night. All right, thanks everyone. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.